It is time for yet another little switch up with the paint scheme of this aarava Porsche racing team in this season of F1 25 My Team Career Mode, as we once again are going to be running a one-off livery. We have got 4 in this season. We've already done 1, which was the Golf livery at the Monaco Grand Prix, and we've got several others lined up for later in the season. But in today's episode, in what promises to be an action-packed Austrian Grand Prix, we have got livery number 2 in the lineup, and it is the Pink Pig. This is perhaps one of the most unique Porsche liveries there has ever been. It's very striking, very out there as a concept, I must say. The original Porsche Pink Pig livery rolled out on the Porsche 917 at the 1971 24 Hours of Le Mans, and immediately got the world's press and race spectators scratching their heads. It was covered in lines and names for meat cuts made by butchers, set on top of a race car coloured with a vibrant flesh-like paint. The livery was retired immediately after that one race, but such was the impact its legend lived on, and 47 years later the Pink Pig livery would return once again in 2018, appearing on the Porsche 911 RSR, competing at that year's 24 Hour of Le Mans. The original Pink Pig car unfortunately retired from its race in 1971, but in 2018 its distant cousin had a lot more success and finished first in its GTE Pro category after a grueling 344 laps. The Pink Pig had finally brought home the bacon, and that's what we'll be hoping for in today's F1 25 My Team Career Mode, as we have our own version in Formula 1 of the Porsche Pink Pig, along with pink overalls to match with both our drivers, looking very dashing, I must say. It's always nice to match the overalls to the livery itself, but let's take a tour around. So this is our modern day F1 version of the Pink Pig livery, with the fleshy paint base and then the lines and butcher's name cuts on the top around the car, corresponding to the different parts of the car, equating them to where they would be on a pig that's cut up at a butcher's shop. It's a very odd concept, and I must say was a very daunting livery to actually design from scratch in Photoshop and mod into the game, but I think it's come out as well as you'd hope on an F1 chassis, because obviously compared to the original bodies that this livery was on, this is a much more narrower chassis shape than the 917, then the 911 RSR. So there were a few compromises here and there, but I think it's come out just as striking and, you know, head-turning as the originals. I hope, at least. You guys can let me know in the comments below. We have blacked out the front wing and the rear wing a little bit, just to add a little bit of slickness. And then you'll also notice on the side, we've got an 80-year Porsche Celebration logo, which I created because I actually realized that here in Season 4, we are in 2028, and I realized when the last Pink Pig livery was done on that 911 RSR, they were celebrating 70 years of sports cars at Porsche and had this really cool logo to celebrate that. And very neatly then, 10 years on, virtually in this alternate F1 universe of ours, we are now 10 years on to make it a nice even 80. So we've also got that on the side and the front of the car, which I feel actually gives a bit more of a grounded reason as to why we're doing this livery now in this season with Porsche. So with that then, we shift our focus onto the episode on hand. Sorry for spending so long on the lore of this livery, but out of the 4, this definitely had the most explanation needed behind it, whereas, you know, Golf, Martini, there's probably a very good chance that you know of those liveries if you just say the name alone, whereas with the Pink Pig, even myself, I had to learn about it and then go out and set and designing an F1 version of it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys see that kind of, you know, that love and passion that I always love to bring when it comes to designing these sort of one-off liveries, and, you know, just doing the modding around the game to make something more of just from the base game, basically. But anyway, let's get into this then. The Austrian Grand Prix, it does promise to be very action-packed, as it always is on the F1 game, and there are only now 1 single point between Oscar Piastri Piastri and Tim Tramnitz. And very nicely, Tim Tramnitz is the driver that we are moving over to drive as. Leclerc got to have the Golf livery at his home race in Monaco, and now it's Tim Tramnitz's turn, or our turn to drive as Tim Tramnitz for one of the one-off liveries. It's time for the Pink Pig to take on the F1 Austrian Grand Prix.
Hello everyone, welcome to Austria. It is a short track, it is high speed, it is exactly what we enjoy for qualifying.
Well, before we turn a wheel for qualifying, we have to take into account that there is a forecast for rain on Sunday, and I feel like maybe gambling a little bit and banking on that actually being a reality, because we know sometimes the weather forecast on purpose can be inaccurate to kind of be like real life, where sometimes you just can't forecast it completely correct. But I have got a good feeling about this, and so we're bumping up the front and rear wings massively up. This will backfire if it's not a wet race. Like, make no mistake, this will be a terrible setup if it is a full dry race. So I'm really banking on it being a wet race. And if not, I don't know. If it's not, then I have really messed up, and the one-off livery curse continues. I hope not, as we roll out for the first time then in the Pink Pig livery around the Austrian Grand Prix, and it looks just as striking from the onboard as it does on the offboard. Although, to be fair, a lot of the butcher's line cuts have been hidden by the halo the way it comes through. Otherwise, you'd see a bit more of the butcher's line cuts. But make no mistake, especially offboard, when we see the replay cameras through the race, this livery is going to stand out to no end, as we see it here in qualifying, out on track for the first time in the sunshine. And it might be a bit more of a doom and gloom outlook come the race day, but yeah, that is one crazy looking livery, I gotta say. But one we'll definitely remember, I think, for episodes to come, for sure. And I'm hoping that we can remember this episode in this season for making a bold, what could be, I'm going to say, a 300 IQ gamble of putting the wings up, knowing, hoping that that forecast will come true. And if it is going to be wet, that's going to pay us massive dividends in the race. And that's on top of, remember, the recent patch to the AI should have made the AI a bit more raceable and a bit, you know, less OP in the wet than they used to be. So this could be a double whammy of I think our first wet race experience in my team since the patch. It could be a double whammy of being competitive in this sort of situation. But first and foremost, we have to get through the qualifying sessions. We set a pretty decent lap time, but Charles Leclerc did not. That's concerning. 17th, Charles. 17th. You need to get a move on, my man. You need to get a move on. And unfortunately, I don't think he has. We load into the end of Q1. We've gone through to the results. I don't see Leclerc in the top bit. And he, oh my God, by only a couple of thousandths of a second, he is being knocked out by Gabriel Bortoletto in the Audi. But there are plenty of other surprising names above him. Zach O'Sullivan in the Renault, Marty in the Haas, Stroll the McLaren, to be honest, is a surprise as well to be up there. And Leclerc is out. I mean, we had some pretty awful luck with that jammed gear at Monaco with the Golf one-off livery in that episode whilst we were driving as Leclerc. And now Leclerc here is being knocked out in Q1. So maybe there isn't a total curse on the one-off liveries this season. It's just specifically with Leclerc, clearly. Oh, man. Okay, right. Well, we have to move on then, as the single Pink Pig car left in the day, left in the qualifying. Let's try and get up through into the top 10 shootout. I actually think an added bonus of the higher wings is over one lap, I actually probably will gain more time than lose time, because of course, yeah, I'll lose some time on the straights, but I think I'm gaining quite a lot in the corners, where this setup is actually helping me over one lap as well. Obviously, typically though, in the race on heavier fuel, it would be a massive detriment. But if there is rain to come, then it will be a positive on both days, and we're looking quick. But Pierre Gasly's up there for Red Bull, but who is not is the championship leader. It's another shock exit. In Q1, it was Leclerc, our teammate, as we drive his Tramnits today, and now it's the nearest man to us in the standings, the man 1 point ahead of our German driver. Piastri is out in 13th place, and also Bortoleto there I highlighted. 10th place for Audi. Audi in the top 10 shootout. Incredible stuff. So in the last part of qualifying, it's the lone aarava Porsche racing car, the lone Audi and Red Bull. Surprisingly, both McLarens, both Hondas, Mercs, and one Ferrari. It's certainly going to be a very competitive last session, and we're setting purple, which is looking very, very good. Obviously, we've always gone well at Austria, and the My Team car historically has always gone well around Austria as well. So let's see what we can do to the line. Oh, narrowly missing out on pole position there. Provisional pole, I must say. 0.082, because we've got another lap to go. It's a yellow first sector, but purple in the middle, and we're just narrowly quicker through the final two corners, using that extra downforce to good use to turn the nose in. And we've actually gained just over a tenth of a second to go on to pole position. Could that be it for this special livery? No, Lando Norris comes back again. And remember, Lando won in this Mercedes car last season. So clearly they're finding a groove from last season. But he's trounced everyone. He's 4/10 clear of us, so fair play. We're going to have to settle for second place on the front row, but that's fantastic with this one-off livery as well. And really in the context of Piastri being down in 13th, Leclerc 16th is not great for us as a team and for him individually, but obviously for Tramnits individually, he would be looking at that thinking that's pretty damn great for me. Verstappen 3rd place, though, could be a threat from behind. And also Gasly in the Red Bull, even though he's only 6th place, that Red Bull has been the most consistent car in the races, and that's why they're leading the constructors as well. So I would keep an eye on him, but really none of that will matter if it's not raining in the race. Let's load in and find out.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or the other has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. And Tim Tramnits completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Pierre Gasly, and Colapinto, Stroll, Ocon, Bortoleto, and Yuki Tsunoda, Piastri, Aaron, Liam Lawson, and O'Sullivan, Pepe Marti, Leclerc, Isaac Hadjar, and Zane Maloney, Doohan, Crawford, Albon, and Nikola Zolov completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. I love this moment in the weekend. Put us in their shoes right now. What are they feeling on the grid?
You've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Oh, I am worried. I am concerned, as I'm sure you would have realised immediately as we loaded into the race there with the intro. It looked pretty damn dry around the Red Bull ring. We're on the dry tyres. I can see the hard, but look at this session forecast. It is saying raining the entire race, even with some heavy rain. So I think that means it's going to basically start raining immediately, and therefore definitely shouldn't be starting on the hards. I've swapped to the mediums. It looks like everyone's engineer recommended in the hards. I don't know why, but already we have maybe taken a 300 IQ strategy play to put those wings up in qualifying in preparation for a wet race. And now I'm adding another 300 IQ here right now on this formation lap, or that strategy decision. So in total, if you're counting, I think this is about to be a 600 IQ race weekend deciding decision, because now we've got the higher wings. We're on the medium tyre. Everyone else is on hard, so we're on the softer compound for what is going to be just one lap or two of dry tyre running, because it is already raining. The droplets are already collecting on the screen, and it's so slippery that I almost nearly ditched it into the wall there on the warm-up. So I surely will have a huge advantage wings-wise, downforce-wise, and tyre grip-wise here on this opening lap. It is pelting it down. It's going to be inters within minimum 3 laps at best, but I think even sooner, as we go to 5 red lights to the Austrian Grand Prix in the pink pig livery. Lights out, and we are underway with our medium tyre giving us the grip. Lando comes across to defend the inside, but we are going to take it nice and easy on the outside. That looked and felt like a very easy overtake as we looked behind us, and it was because of the grip we've got on the mediums. But in a straight line on this one lap, all these guys are going to be so much quicker than me in a straight line because of my higher wing level. So that's one thing to watch out for as we go down this next straight, and Lando is going to catch us up at a rate of knots. It's almost like the AI patch doesn't exist with that rear view, but now we're going to just benefit in this second sector with the extra downforce we've got, with the extra grip as we go through the left-hander. And I've got to say, actually, the overcast conditions are allowing us to see and appreciate the detail on the one-off livery a lot more, to be honest, than the sunshine. So maybe it's a good thing it's going to be a bit doom and gloom. As look at the gap we've got, 6/10 in only 2 corners there because of the grip we've got as we jockey our way through the last few corners. As we look at the off-board camera, we're the only ones carrying on. Everyone and their mother is coming in for a pit stop for the intermediate, but we can carry on because we've got that medium tyre, we've got the extra grip, and this is what's going to happen. Everyone's going to get double stacked, caught up. We know this is a thing on the F1 game. Everyone blocks everyone. It's absolute pandemonium in the pit lane, and Charles Leclerc from 16th place has just jumped up to 6th place. He's gained 10 places simply by our pit box being at the bottom of the pit lane. Absolute finesse from Charles Leclerc. He deserved that after that frustrating qualifying. What a finesse from Leclerc and our team. Obviously, no real influence in that. You know, we didn't decide to be at the back of the pit lane, and to be honest, we're the reigning champions. So if this was real life, we would have been moved to the front of the pit lane, but that's not a thing in the F1 game. And so that's allowed Leclerc to gain massively. And I've carried on for one more lap, but now it's definitely time to come in because DRS has been disabled. And if you don't know, typically that's the absolute sign that it's time to switch on to the inters. But I had decent enough grip in the first 2 sectors where I'm not going to lose out, basically. I'm confident that we're going to come in now. It's an empty pit box. Easy pit stop onto intermediates, and we're going to come out in first place, and we don't have to deal with any of that pit lane issue. So there we are then, and Verstappen also has become a big winner in that pit lane debacle, as well as also I want to point out Bortoletto in the Audi, Marty in the Haas, and Tsunoda in the Williams, even O'Sullivan, Renault, Maloney, BMW, Colapinto, Honda, all in the top 10. I think both Haas actually in the top 10 there. So it's ourselves from Verstappen, and that is going to be a bit of a pressure cooker, though. We know how good Verstappen is in the wet, as Leclerc looks like he's fighting for 5th place there, and this is the replay. So Leclerc actually sending it down the inside. So this is actually wonderful to see from a team owner perspective. Leclerc jumping up 16th place, probably feeling down and out, but here he is snapping at the heels of a top 5 as we get on through this race. And oh my word, Oscar Piastri He was down in 13th place already after being knocked out in Q2. But here he is now. He must have, well, Red Bull obviously so early in the pit lane, so he must have got caught up majorly behind Gasly and other teams. He's down in 19th, having just overtaken the BMW. So the championship leader is way down out of the points, and we're driving his Tramnit in first place. Surely this is going to be a guaranteed taking the lead of the Drivers' Championship after this race is over. But I don't want to jinx it too much, so let's still wait and confirm that, because we've got a long way to go. I've asked about the weather because I wasn't sure about when that full wet weather is coming through, because we saw on the strategy screen it was due at some point, but at the moment I'm just focusing on trying to keep Verstappen at an arm's length. And to be honest, we're doing very well here on 110 AI. This is, remember, as well, Austria, Verstappen, you know, obviously very high rated AI driver. I think we're doing very well to hold our own. You know, the gap is kind of, you know, undulating from 1.1 to 1.5 down to 1.1. So we're not, you know, cracking under pressure. And now lap 7, it's so much darker.
Radar suggests that this heavy rain will be with us for a while now. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so Mark is actually saying technically right now we are in heavy rain, a heavy rain period. So maybe the full wets may not be too far away, or we just carry on an Inters, because remember, in real life, the teams never use full wets. Like, the F1 cars are allergic to the full wets, it seems, in real life. So maybe here in the game also we'll carry on a little bit longer on Inters. At least I will, because I can see Verstappen there. Was he coming into the pit lane? He is! Verstappen's in! He's going to be in for the full wets, is it? As we carry on to lap 10, it's seemingly turning into a race weekend of gambling, or a race weekend of going totally different to everyone else on this grid, with the wing levels, with the tyre choice at the start, with coming in on lap 2 rather than lap 1. And now again, this is the 4th decision we've made that is the polar opposite of everyone else. And so far, it's worked for us. Only time will tell if this one works out for us. We're carrying on the Inters. Everyone is in for the full wet tyres, including our teammates. So I suppose this will give us a good yardstick measurement. If Leclerc is all of a sudden so much quicker than us, and to be fair, also just Verstappen, you know, because we can see the interval gap a bit better on the onboard to Verstappen, because Leclerc will be outside of our heads-up display on the timing ladder. If we look at the gap, it's 21.6. I reckon we're good until Verstappen is within 20 seconds. So anything less than 20 seconds, I think that's maybe then the time to come in. But lap 12, we're carrying on. The car feels pretty good, to be honest, still on Inters, even though it does very much look time for full wet. It's very dark. The spray's a lot larger. Yellow flags ahead, though, and so imagine my shock again that it's Lance Stroll spinning it on full wet. So he's got no excuse. He didn't carry on in Inters. He's on full wets and he span it. And you've got Stroll facing a wall versus his teammate in second place with a big gap to third then. You know, just, it's night and day at McLaren. I don't know, the amount of money that Lawrence Stroll must be paying McLaren in this alternative universe of ours to keep Stroll in a seat must be astronomical. Like, they must be literally paying for everything in that team to keep that guy in the seat alongside the star that is Max Verstappen, as we see Leclerc now maybe making a move for 4th place on the outside. Bit of an unorthodox place to make the pass, especially in the wet, to be fair, but he's out traction the Haas, and he's up to 4th place. But the Haas can be happy that he's in 5th place anyway. Marty, he'll be over the moon anyway. And Bortoletto still, by the way, in a podium position in 3rd, but maybe Leclerc is due to ruin that. As we go on to lap 13, more updates on the weather.
We've seen a couple of moments from other cars in the last lap or so. The intermediates are definitely starting to struggle. Might be time to move on to the full wet.
So Mark really is trying to sell me on it's time to come in for the full wets. And to be honest, look at the top left. The gap was narrowly down for a moment to 20.3. And then by the end of the lap, it's 19.8. What did I say? Lower than 20, we come in. We come in now. This is the time to come in. So what we've done here, though, is given ourselves a big delta on the full wets, because the tyre wear, remember, has been high this entire season, and that includes these wet tyres, the inters and the wets. We don't know what the tyre wear's like on the full wet tyres, to be honest. I know the inters have been a bit iffy in the past, but we were actually pretty good on that set of inters, but who knows what these full wets will be like. So this has given us the tyre delta, but it is going to be very, very close. There is Verstappen on our left-hand side with all the momentum. We're trying to get the power down and coming across to defend Verstappen. Oh, there's contact! There's contact! We've hit the wall! We've gone through the polystyrene boards, and somehow we have escaped any sort of damage to the tyre, to the suspension, or the front wing, thankfully, because that was actually a fair amount of momentum, I feel, to hit the wall with. But now we're down to second, and we've got it all to do. Is that... Oh, is that a puff of smoke for Piastri? I don't think that is the spray. I think that's the engine going pop. Piastri struggling all weekend, and maybe now we know why. There was an engine gremlin on the way. Piastri is out of the race. So now, surely that's an open goal for Tramnitz to take the lead of the championship. It's a safety car because of that, because of where he's parked up, which is fair enough. It is quite close to the racing line.
It's a good opportunity to pit. We'll be a bit longer than planned on the next tyres, but
I mean, it's a bit late to tell me that, Mark.
We'll probably lose track position.
Great, thank you, Mark. Mark's just telling me and lecturing me about coming in. It's too late for me and Verstappen. Both of us were too far gone past the white line to come in for a pit stop. It's, oh my God, what? What is that tyre wear? The lopsided tyre on the right-hand side. Oh, you know what? That might be from the crash we had with Verstappen. We didn't get any punches or damage, but I think the tyres actually got extra wear from just hitting the wall and going across the grass, that is, as everyone else is coming in for a pit stop. I'm desperately trying to push Verstappen along, like, come on, mate, we're the only two that haven't come in. I don't care about being second place in this instance. I want both of us to come in as soon as we can. But Verstappen was taking his sweet time behind the safety car, but we are both in. And looking at the gap of Bortoleto, 43 seconds, 45. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be actually comfortably fine. So I actually was worrying for nothing about missing the pit lane initially on the safety car. It's an okay pit stop, 2.5. Verstappen's even quicker, though, with McLaren, so he will retain the lead of the race. We're in second. It is going to be Bortoleto in third. Leclerc P4. All of a sudden, we've got maybe a double podium on our hands with the pink pig livery. That's awesome. But first and foremost, on this safety car restart, I really want to be aggressive and get this move done straight away on Verstappen. You know, it was, probably mostly our fault for the incident with Verstappen because we came across quite aggressively. But at the same time, I was still a bit annoyed at how that all ended up as Verstappen bolts a bit early. We're going to try and go with him through the final corner with the rain light flashing for all of us. It's hard now to tell if cars are harvesting battery or not, but across the line, we've seen this a few times on this year's game. The AI slow on the safety car restart. We barrel down into turn one on the inside. Verstappen's off track, but he stayed in first because our rear end squirmed. We couldn't get the power down as we're trying to get temperature in these hard tyres, I think, as Verstappen covers off the inside, but I want the inside line to take the corner for myself onto the apex. Verstappen gets caught up on us. We're slow. Verstappen takes us wide onto the grass, and through goes Gabriel Bortoleto in the Audi. The Audi leads this Grand Prix. We're now 3 abreast. Leclerc out of nowhere on the inside. We defend Verstappen, and we're going to have to wave by Leclerc because we don't have the tyre temperatures. We've got no grip out there, and we lose the back end again. Oh, it's awful. Oh, I thought we did enough warm-up on the tyres, but clearly not. They're stone cold. They just feel awful right now on this opening lap. Nothing like it was in that first stint, and we nearly get bullied off the racing line by Tsunoda. We're down to 6th place now. All of a sudden, we're looking at Bortoleto and the Audi leading this race from Leclerc in 2nd, who started the race in 16th, and then there's Verstappen, then there's Marty, of all people, in the Haas, Norris in the Mercedes. He was on pole, remember. We haven't seen him really since the very first lap, but he's recovered well as we go to turn one, floating the car in nicely, but still having traction issues off that first turn. So still a little bit of a grip problem on this set of full wet tyres. I don't know what's going on, but even like a bit of a double lock up into that corner, this car doesn't feel exactly as good as it did on that first initial full wet bit of driving. But we're going to have to just push through it and try and find a rhythm again in this race, because we know we clearly have some decent pace in the wet. A lot of it probably thanks to the AI patch, obviously making them less OP, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable now to actually race them properly and not just wave them goodbye. But right now we are waving goodbye to the top three, especially with that gravel trap traveling from my front right. That's not going to help us out, so now we need to re-engage to try and come back at Lando Norris. But this is a replay then of that lap 21, and Verstappen, that's the turn one, of course. Verstappen goes off track but keeps P1. We've got Bortoletto. Little does he know he's about to get first place. We dive down the inside. We take the apex. Verstappen's turned in, and he just keeps turning in. So we kind of lock wheels and kind of lock cars. And I get on the grass so much that I can't get the power down. And Bortoletto steams on through. And to be honest, maybe that's why I lost the back end in the next sector. It's probably the grass on my tyres from that excursion, thanks to Verstappen and ourselves. That was equally my fault, because we went in very, very hot and tried to take first place immediately. So that is really just a racing incident. I can't blame Verstappen for that. It is equally our fault in terms of takes two to tango in that sort of situation. And now on lap 23, Leclerc, having been in 16th place at the start of this race, has just taken the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix. He's overtaken Bortoletto in the Audi, who's still probably loving life in second place, but I fear maybe now with a very fast Verstappen overtaking him right there, Norris and myself behind here, Bortoletto, the dream might be over. The Audi podium that he was maybe thinking of, I guess, I think it's going to be over, because we're going to surely overtake him. Norris is probably going to overtake him. We're going to actually catch Lando napping a little bit on the inside there. He's too busy watching the Brazilian, and we get up into fourth place now, gaining. We use a fair amount of battery. He goes defensive, opens up the corner for us to slip through on the left-hand side, and we're up into third place. So we're back into a podium spot. Oh, well, maybe not. Bortoletto's still there. So we have to finish off the job, actually, so I spoke too soon. Now we're definitely into third place, and we can try and chase after Verstappen, but I cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's a 1-3 for aarava Porsche Racing, and Leclerc is the lead car, not myself, driving as Tramnit. It's crazy, as Norris now is going to seal Bortoletto's fate. The Audi podium is well and truly over, and maybe even a top 4. He might have to settle for a top 5. Marti, Tsunoda, Colapinto behind. Colapinto might ruin things, to be honest. That Honda probably should be overtaking the Williams, Haas, and Audi. On to lap 27. It's now a case of trying to find a groove in this race and trying to close up to Verstappen. Also asking about weather, and just in case it went back to Inters, because I think the forecast did technically maybe say it could go back to Inters, but it sounds like this is going to be it then to the end of the race. So we want second place, if we want first, we're going to have to overtake these guys fair and square. But the problem is, lap 29, we're running out of laps, and we're running out of tyre wear. So look at those rear tyres. That is horrendous. So there's our answer from earlier. The tyre on the full wets is awful then. The Inters actually surprisingly held their own, but this is concerning, because we've got, 7 laps to go. I reckon those rear tyres get to about 75%. And if you don't know, that means that's puncture territory. After 75%, I believe, then it's just RNG about you might get a puncture randomly. It could be at any point from 75% to 100%. So this is now a big worry and big gamble from everyone here, because I suspect everyone surely has got the same tyre wear. Lap 33, 3 laps to go. We're up to 87% tyre wear on the rear left tyre, and it basically meant, unfortunately, till the end of the race, I got the vibe that everyone was in a holding pattern, and we were all happy to just finish where we were, because if you push too much, you could really risk a tyre at 100%, as we're now here on the last lap. Verstappen's walking away from me, because now we're at a red tyre icon, so we're into an 80% plus range, probably 90% at this stage, really, as Lando tried to attack us. We had to defend simply to maintain our third place, And so, quite amazingly, it feels like out of thin air, Charles Leclerc is going to actually win this race. From being knocked out in Q1, gaining 10 places in the pit lane, he is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix in the pink pig livery. I mean, you know what? This makes up for the Gulf Monaco episode where we had such horrendous luck with the jammed gear. Charles Leclerc coming through. The last time the pink pig livery was on a Porsche in a race, it won the 24-hour Le Mans in its category. Today, it has won this Austrian Grand Prix. Leclerc wins again in the season. It's a double podium. But you know what? Fair play. And once again, is that Leclerc finally showing why he's a 99 overall rated driver. Insane. Third race win of the season. Crazy.
The man from Monaco will win again. Charles Leclerc takes the checkered flag.
And this really is, as we know, a team game. And a performance from the driver like this today gives the team energy moving forwards. It's closely fought in the Constructors' Championship. And this will go a long way to boosting that energy as we move forward.
Now it is time to start the celebrations as we welcome our top three. And there can only be one on the top step. Today, his name is Charles Leclerc.
It's a big day in the championship because we take the lead and Leclerc is up to second place because of Piastri's DNF. It's a 1-2 in the championship. What on earth? You could not have bet on that a few races ago with everything happening to our car and us, but we've somehow just cut through all the noise and we've actually been quite consistent in the last few episodes, and that's been the opposite for Red Bull and Piastri, at least with this DNF today, and so we take the lead of the constructors. That is a very fitting reward for the pink pig livery in today's episode, I gotta say. As like I said, in real life, the last time it raced, it won, and now we've won this race in it, and we've taken the lead of both championships. Insane, insane stuff. Very lucky with Piastri's DNF, though, I must say as well, but you make your own luck, and I'm sure there might be some other twists and turns to come, but an amazing day for us and in this race. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.